also talked in broad terms about his desire.
Hello everyone, welcome to the live stream. I say that ready for when you watch it back for. Alright, have a bit of fun tonight. They can be boring if you want, I don't mind. I'll stay live for a few hours.
Setting out a door for the budget choice. I don't understand circumstances to be affected. Nothing Rachel Reeves said here was wrong. She didn't put circumstances to affect the trade-off. She left us with sleepy and passion. Who now knows she's seen then, bigger than budget now. And it's not just the waters making it up. So as the chance to steer knowledge. It's wanting this box today.
You would never expect the Prime Minister of Scotland to go through all the detailed numbers. The Cabinet agreed on the morning of the budget, on the budget numbers.
Back at the Prime Minister's speech, here is the flavour of the Isn't the reality that very anything about the threat of what as her pre-budget the Chancellor misled us. Trust matters after our views. Trust anything he said.
A Cabinet Minister has told us what they do feel misled.
Keir Starmer repeatedly said downgrading the forecast estimate productivity growth made things harder, and it clearly did. But he did acknowledge there was other data. The Chancellor mentioned at the time.
Horse brother. But that's it. There's no suggestion the government is saying that's not.
Since the Chancellor,
we're talking about poverty, we're talking about markets. You see, did what Rachel would have had, and he felt the same price.
She was both and I'm not going to lie, the Chancellor going through
it's been a bumpy months for the government. Plenty of Labour figures say roll on the holidays around the corner. Right. Wow. I'm struck tonight by two brief observations of
Hi, Jordan.
In the context and the reflections of plenty of Labour folk in private that the process running
That's peace and quiet gone.
and indeed tips as the party idea.
Chris, Nathan.
Hey, Jordan.
So, the head of the Office for Budget Responsibility tonight resigned after the whole budget was needed before the Council had even got to her feet in the Commons. Richard Hughes had been in charge for 5 years. Rachel Reeves has thanked him for his public service. Our economics editor, Faisal Islam.
A shock resignation for a very specific reason. Richard Hughes, head of the critically important independent budget forecaster, carrying a can.
Yeah, we're fine.
On the morning of the budget.
Yeah, we're all good.
To the BBC that evening. You could see that there may be a route for some sort of resignation. Whatever the decisions of the Chancellor, just go up, I'll accept. In his letter of resignation today, Richard Hughes said the early dissemination of our economic and fiscal outlook on the 26th of November was a technical but serious error. I have therefore decided it is in the best interest of the UPR for me to resign as its chair and take full responsibility. An internal review revealed dozens of attempts from early on budget, even before she hit the famous red box, to access the forecast on the web. Before it was accessed 43 times by people guessing a hidden web address for 38 minutes, an hour before the actual budget speech. It was called the worst failing of the OBR's 15-year history, and it happened once back in March.
That was a really bad mistake, and it was extraordinary watching the budget coverage before the budget came out with all of that information going into the mail. But I don't think that changes the fact that Richard Hughes was an effective chair of the OBR, that this is a difficult time for the OBR to lose its head.
Mind-blowing. I mean, it's a terrible sort of end to all the speculation, if you like, that we've been going through in the build-up.
I think I need a red box. I can deliver the budget now. Ultimately, Richard Hughes accepted responsibility for a technical error that allowed the rest of the world to know the contents of the budget early. But there were wider tensions around this budget, with some Labour figures saying the OBR was too restrictive for the government's economic ambition. Faisal Islam, BBC News.
The US and the UK have agreed a deal that will mean pharmaceuticals exported to the United States will continue to be tariff-free for another 3 years. In return, the NHS will spend more on medicines. It comes after warnings that US pharma companies would cut back on their activities on sites in the UK if the NHS did not pay more for drugs. Well, I'm joined by our business editor, Simon Jack, our health editor of RQ, Simon, first of all, it is big business, isn't it? Pharmaceuticals for the United States.
Absolutely. We export about £5 billion worth of medicines to the US every year. It's right up there with cars as one of the most valuable exports. So being tariff-free has been welcomed by the industry and by government. In return, as you say, the NHS will spend more on medicines, and a current volume rebate they get, volume discount rebate they get, which they have to pay back to drug companies, that will be capped. It's been a long-running dispute with the drug companies. The NHS spends too little on new medicines, and that is actually pushing them out of the UK. And this long-running dispute has been galvanised by an angry Donald Trump, who says the US customers are paying far more for drugs than anyone does in the UK. The rest of Europe wants to try and bring those prices close together. We've seen drug companies like AstraZeneca, like GSK, like others, spend billions in the US while shutting down operations and cancelling them over here. The hope is that this deal between these three parties will help stem that time.
So it should be a business deal, but is it good for patients?
Well, a bit of both here, Sophie. The regulator, NICE, under this deal, will push up its maximum ceiling that it's prepared to say is value for money for the NHS. So that means, in theory, there'll be more money paid out for more drugs. And just to give you an indication, they assess about 70 each year, approve about 90% of them. And they think this deal will mean that between 3 and 5 more new drugs each year will be approved. They could be life-saving cancer drugs and others. But on the other side of the coin, industry sources say it could be a few £1 billion extra over the next 3 years or so. We don't know if the Treasury is going to pay for it. It could be that existing health budgets have to cover it. And one think tank, the Nuffield Trust, has said this actually is money that could be spent on GPs or other NHS services.
In the meantime, the NHS has something else on the NHS in England, yet another resident doctor strike.
That's right, the third strike this year by resident doctors. It will start at 7 a.m. on the 17th of December and end at the same time on the 22nd. Already, NHS leaders, it's only over Christmas, the NHS is under a huge amount of pressure. But the BMA argument is that actually they still don't feel they're paid enough to compensate for inflation over the last 2 decades. Where Speaking Health actually says they've had up to 29% over 3 years. There's simply no money available, and this is obviously.
The Labour MP has described a Bangladeshi court's verdict as flawed article after she was found guilty of corruption charges and sentenced to 2 years in prison. Prosecutors said she had an influence over her aunt, the former Prime Minister of Bangladesh, to support her mother. Her aunt, Sheikh Hasina, was ousted last year and sentenced to death after hundreds of children protests. Nicola reports.
Tulip City with Sir Keir Starmer. They were elected at the same time for neighbouring London constituencies. She was forced out as his anti-corruption minister after being accused of corruption herself in Bangladesh. This is Tulip City in 2013, before she was an MP. On the right is Vladimir Putin. In the middle is Sheikh Hasina, the former leader of Bangladesh. She's also Citi's aunt. Today, court convicted the state of using influence over her aunt to secure plots of land for her family. The prosecutor says Ms. Sadiq has been sentenced to 2 years in prison and a fine. If she doesn't pay, the sentence will be extended. Ms. Sadiq faced a number of allegations earlier this year relating to the nuclear deal in Bangladesh, property in London. She denied wrongdoing, saying she's been the victim of the dirty politics of Bangladesh. There's no charge sheet. I have no correspondence from them. I'm not looking at the fine. I'm a parliamentarian. It just feels like
The China report, it just feels like it's shambolic, a complete farce. Others have been concerned with Bangladesh isolating mentoring schools. A number of lawyers against the British politics say they thought the process was confined and unexpected, that the basic requirements of justice were met. The Labour Party also said that they can't recognise the verdict. It's highly likely the solution ever face them in prison is to include every government relationship with Bangladesh. To extend into the authority of Bangladesh. She continued to maintain her innocence and is trying to get on with her work. A man accused of trying to kill 10 people on board a train travelling between Peterborough and Hampton in last month has refused to appear at court. 32-year-old Anthony Williams is charged with 13 counts of attempted murder along with 8 other offences related to suspected. The case has been adjourned and will resume in the new year. It's investigating the post office Verizon IT scandal, so they are now considering charges of corporate knife-stalking. 8 suspects have been identified, as well as 53 individuals described as persons of interest. Hundreds of sub-postmasters were prosecuted as a result of what's been called the UK's most widespread miscarriage of justice. Some went to prison, others have suffered prison. Two former heads of UK Special Forces have been accused of suppressing evidence of war crimes. The claims were made at a public inquiry examining allegations of unlawful killings by the SAS in Afghanistan. A senior officer who can't be named, who was among the most senior in Special Forces, said he was tasked with equal explicit evidence suggesting criminal behaviour to the then director of Special Forces in 2011. This Richard
investigate allegations of war crimes, BBC Panorama has travelled to the furthest corners of Africa. In here to Kwaziland, 7 people were killed in this room. The SAS claimed more had been shot by insurgent fire. But the high-ranking officer told the inquiry how the burst of AK-47 fire resulting every single member of that room getting a headshot. Not plausible and non-stick. Another man was killed here. The author says he was taken into a room and shot. The high-ranking officer told the inquiry he was concerned about the number of times he's taken part inside buildings. We were talking about war crime. We were talking about taking a detaining bad target and executing them. The officer said he was being so concerned by SAS behaviour in Afghanistan, he commissioned a review of the results in the he told the inquiry two former heads of UK Special Forces knew about allegations of manipulation that failed to act. Felix Holden is a former head of the military prosecution team. The revelation mostly comes from an individual that is on the high level and therefore what you hope to say is something that has very good. In contact with both former heads of UK Special Forces, one was killed. The other refuted the accusation and said he would provide a comprehensive response and give evidence to the inquiry in due course. The witness told the inquiry he was not against the Special Forces. I am fiercely loyal to UKSF. I believe that loyalty is about doing the right thing, not necessarily doing the thing. The Ministry of Defence that the government was fully committed to supporting the independent inquiry, but it would wait for the outcome before commenting further. Richard Wilson, BBC News.
story this evening. The Prime Minister and the Chancellor said that they did not receive a the potentially harmful chemicals found in food, clothes, and electronics. Today we're thought to be one of the most defended countries in the world. Find out why seems to be an Oxford today. It's about to change. And did these little girls have to smash a world record? Find out here. Let's see.
What's all over you? Oh,
Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube from next week. Anyone under the age of 16 in Australia will be banned from using social media. The Australian government says it's all about reducing the pressures and risks of children taking life. The two ministers are arguing the ban disregards their rights. Technology companies have also criticized the decision and are calling on President Trump to intervene. Australia program is what every morning spells the end of their phones are released and the internet is put at home. It's up to you to be told by their parents. The British government found Newman. Their digital freedom is about to be held
yes, I'm just, cleaning your
Many
head.
of you have around last week actually own social media, and it's very tough to realize that it's really
Come on, you must know where
The legislation coming in next week covers some of the most prominent social media companies have taken steps to make it they can be fined as much as £25 million. Speaking to the BBC, the country's communication team said companies have failed in their duty. They have had 15 companies in place to do that evaluation now, and are highly going to come into
Oh, sorry.
Hey, Eve.
They're gone summer holidays. When it comes like cyberbullying and stuff, like it's not going to solve those kinds of issues. Kids are gonna still go on it. Kids are still gonna get cyberbullied. I think we'll have a pretty good impact. Get me off my screen. Their parents though are thinking through the consequences and teaching advice for their team.
The implementation of it is garbage. We needed to have something that actually has teeth and consequences. So maybe companies possibly learn to children.
But if you look closely at these videos, you start to notice something isn't right, even though cats behave so strangely after being clipped as soon as the clip is removed.
But there are still plenty of questions and answers right now. Being a family, not quite sure what their online life
The event usually lasts only.
Katie Wilson, CTV.
As y'all know, we adopted 3 disabled dogs, one eats in a box.
More than 1,000 people have died as predators I think 600 people are now being killed on the Indonesian island. Sri Lanka has also been hit hard by a separate weather system that the definitely has risen. But a few forever chemicals with groups of about 10,000 chemicals and PFAs has been used for decades. Things like waterproof clothes, cookware, electronics, and medical equipment. They exist in homes, water, and in food, but they don't degrade easily. And scientists have linked a small number of them to infertility and cancer. As part of a new BBC Panorama investigation, reported that 9 has undergone to determine the 11 chemicals that have been
That long until the stone. The pump. This is for the heart of stone.
They're discovering 6 revolutionary new products. Estimating on £6. But these days, PFAS, or forever chemicals, are not just found in kitchenware. They're used to make things durable, waterproof, and grease-proof. Found in clothes and electronics, medical equipment, solar panels.
Put the door back on. No, I didn't.
Despite mostly illegal, but when later into the human body, the chemicals can stay for a longer time.
This is totally unfair.
consequences. For example, some PFAS have been linked to thyroid, hormonal systems, some have been linked to kidney and liver cancer, and some PFAS have also been shown to affect our fertility. I decided to take tests to find out if I've been affected by forever chemicals. We checked the PFAS levels in blood and urine. So have we found PFAS? Yes. The safe level
Ooh.
less than 2 nanograms per milliliter. Your level is 9.8 nanograms per milliliter. Try to
I don't
lower
know
my
who he
level.
is, but
Trying to limit my exposure to products that may contain forever chemicals. Hair coloring may be told eating more fiber can also help. You will be able to reduce it over the next 2-3 years with a strategy. In Berkshire, Pam and Paul Kavanagh are preparing for their exchange. They've invited Dr. Federica Amati. Hi, nice to meet you. Who studied how babies and children can be affected to their honey to stop possible risks.
These patents have magical non-stick properties. Yeah, and unfortunately, there is evidence to suggest that the PFAS chemicals can reach to the food that's been cooked in them.
She recommends throwing away scratched pans or using stainless steel, and there's more advice.
I'm not going to try and pronounce what he's on about. Just
We are, depending on where you
leave him
live,
to it.
at varying levels of
And
exposure to
subscribe if he
PFAS.
wants.
And one of the ways to reduce them
I was about to say.
The more the merrier.
The European Commission is currently consulting on a blanket ban of forever chemicals. The UK government says it's working with regulators to inform its approach to policy.
Excuse me for yawning.
The Commission says
No.
regulators need to work together in setting transition periods for bringing alternatives to market. Caption 9.
Panorama, the truth about forever chemicals, here on this one at 8 o'clock this evening. Artificial intelligence tools are evolving fast, and some industries worry that AI could impact jobs. The movie business is particularly concerned about the effect on film and the UK's creative sector. Some AI tools promise that with just a few typed instructions known as prompts, the work of an entire film crew can be made by a single creator and a laptop. To investigate much as that, asked the movie director to put the latest AI tech to the test by creating their very own mini epic.
So here we are with Mark. Just one simple camera.
We're going to put AI tools like Aleph from a company called Runway and VO3 from Google to the test, creating an entirely computer-generated short film. AI like this offers a world of potential for movie makers, but there is a flip side. To bring our AI short to life, I worked with Benjamin Barfoot, director of acclaimed psychological horror film, Devil's Head.
This software was just, do something large scale that would cost a lot of money. But it was making all sorts of strange mistakes. And for one, it just constantly wanted to make Mark white. Originally, I was trying to make a dragon in the background, but that failed miserably. So I decided to go for a volcano, which it managed to do. But in the end, just to get 10 working shots, I had to do 150 shots. And the reason for that is because there are no controls or tools beyond prompting.
One of the interesting things he said is while making the film with me, it tried to change my ethnicity.
Constantly. Yeah, constantly.
The model's attempts at continually changing my ethnicity highlight the issue of bias in the way AI is trained.
So, slowly tracking forward. Now you're staying
Working on set, how does this experience compare?
I see in the future that technology slowly integrated a hybrid model of where we are with traditional filmmaking as well. But we're just going to be wanting to work with a brilliant script, brilliant actors, and brilliantly directed. It's never going to change.
Bad idea.
A work in
Keep
progress
AI
there.
out of it.
Human creativity and skill remain
Far too early for AI stuff.
for now.
Apparently, a runaway reindeer sparked a huge search operation in Formby, north of Liverpool. Police, the Coast Guard, and Royal Marines were all deployed after it escaped a Christmas event. Buddy Rudolph, at the time, was tracked down on Formby Beach using a drone and thermal binoculars, and a local lifeboat quad bike team was able to shepherd him into some sand dunes. Buddy is now safely back in his stables in North Wales. What a sight. Let's have a look at the weather now. Hello.
Hi Sophie, thanks very much. Good evening to first day of meteorological winter. It's been a washout day for many of us, local flooding in places. The good news is tonight the wind and the rain will be down with clearer skies developing. But it's been dominated by low pressure, lots of ice bars on the chance, hence the strong winds and a very active weather front, which is the heaviest, most persistent rain to western parts of the UK, with lots of northwest England, certainly northwest Wales, central and southern Wales bearing the brunt of this very heavy rain spell. So we do have this amber rain warning in force for South Wales up until around 9 p.m. this evening. River levels running very high. We do have a number of severe flood warnings in force. The heavy rain continues to spread northward and eastwards this evening, but after midnight, it should start to turn a bit drier with clearer spells, the wind turning lighter, a few showers scatter around southern and western coastal areas. And with the clear sky light, it will be a bit chillier than it was last night, 4 to 7 degrees. It means we'll start off bright with some sunshine tomorrow. A much better day. A lot of sunshine as we head into the afternoon. Scattered showers for southern and western coast, as well Scotland, seeing some heavier rain at times, a little bit of winteriness on the hills. And temperatures will be a bit lower than this afternoon, although it will feel like it's the wind and rain, 7 to 11 degrees. But you have the sunshine to compensate. We've still got low pressure close by as we head into Wednesday, but again, not as windy, and we've got quite a bit of sunshine around. Early mist and fog clearing from eastern England, and we should stay dry across the east of the country. Again, showers southern and western coast, most of those showers affecting Scotland. A little bit lighter, but still in that slightly chillier air mass, 8 to 11 degrees, but more sunshine out. Take that. But as we push towards the end of the week, it does stay unsettled. Further spells of wet and windy weather arriving, and it will turn by day.
Thank you. That's it from us now.
Thank you. Hello to you. Welcome to Saturday on this rather wet and blustery Monday evening. Plenty for you on tonight's programme. Here's what's coming up. Red Funnel takeover. One of our cross-sale ferry companies is sold, but after struggling with debt, criticism over how much tickets cost and reliability issues have anything changed.
The new owners say they want to improve business performance. Passengers for improvement. Outcome too soon.
I think it requires a lot of improvement.
It needs to be more efficient. That's what it needs to be. So if you want tonight's programme. Home for Christmas. A promotional series as Portsmouth Naval Base marks its biggest homecoming in 20 years. We're thought to be one of the world's most surveyed countries in the globe. Find out why CCTV in Oxford could be a back page. And Weymouth transforms into Ellsmouth as hundreds dress up. Did they break a world record? Thank you very much for your company this evening. Good to see you. I'm Salt. Now, missed medical appointments, delayed deliveries, or being late for work. That's the harsh reality for many, many people who rely on a ferry service to and from the Isle of Wight. Red Funnel has been a main operator between the mainland and the island for more than 160 years. But in recent years, the company has struggled with debt, faced criticism over high ferry prices, and
You're right there, babe.
Today, though, it was confirmed that Red Funnel has been taken over. So, can the new owner restore its reputation and reliability?
Gloomy reading for Red Funnel foot passengers today. A
1,
combination of a
2,
refit over
3.
one red
Watching.
boat and poor weather.
That's seconds. And hi to the 3 that's watching. Welcome to the stream.
For a hospital appointment. A forgiving of the weather conditions, but have less
More than welcome to comment down below or come on to the live. You're more than welcome to.
Change.
I think it requires a lot of improvement.
I travelled for 20 years, and prior to the pre
Very funny, Skyver.
Very customer focused. Unfortunately, when you have equity companies involved, they just like in it for the money.
Let them have a break from making a profit and put it back into
Our company's not good enough anymore, babe.
Red Funnel, new owners, what are your hopes?
I'm hoping they can make it a lot more competitive and cheaper, especially for Ireland.
Red Funnel was previously owned by a pension fund consortium. The new owners partners, a UK-based investment firm, so they want to improve the business performance and regain the trust of all stakeholders. Red Funnel, the deal sees its debt reduced by 75%, meaning there'll be more money to invest. It's announcing a review of its ticket pricing strategy and says it's looking at commissioning ferries. Significant improvements and investments over the last few months, particularly in our infrastructure. Our reliability, that wasn't good enough last year, so we're up now for the vehicle ferries and Redjet service has been running at 99% reliability. All of my colleagues, all of our priority is operating reliable and safe service, and that is what will help customers regain trust in us. But that optimism isn't shared by one of the island's MPs, who's calling for government regulation of all island ferry operators.
They've had years to improve the services and timetables, and in that time, they've got worse. The only thing that's going to make a difference now is for government to intervene and step, and for government to play a role in deciding, setting of fares, setting of qualities, just like they do for public transport in the rest of the country.
Red Funnel is adamant it's on a journey of improvement. Those who rely on its services will be charting its progress very closely. Brian, BBC South Today, Southampton.
Was sailing on the water, and a senior Royal Navy officer told BBC South Today that Portsmouth aircraft carrier HMS Prince of Wales and her support ships are war-fighting ready, following an 8-month mission to the other side of the world. Commodore James Blackmore speaking after the biggest naval homecoming in Portsmouth for 20 years. On the voyage to Australia and Japan, the carrier and her flotilla of ships sailed through the potentially dangerous waters of the Red Sea and the South China Sea. There were many emotional reunions as the ships came home a day early to avoid today's wet and
Look, someone's tired.
Pardon me.
We are so proud. I actually feel like I'm first today. I'm just so proud of them. I can't believe it's actually happening, you know.
There is nothing like the emotion and the excitement of Royal Navy ships returning home. Vantage points, front and around the historic harbour entrance of Portsmouth were packed. There was a fly past to greet the returning sailors. Months of separation forgotten amidst a sea of hugs and kisses. Alan and Vicky reunited with their sons Callum and Alex after travelling down from Orkney off the north coast of Scotland. What's that like?
Just amazing. Just amazing to have them back again. Yeah.
Seeing that many people gathering, so it's quite a big thing. Yeah, it's been really, really good. Coming up and seeing my family, it's great.
Sally Wardley from Gosport united with her partner Andrew.
It's a pretty epic trip all the way through. There's a lot of places that I've never been to before. Maybe never go without the Navy.
I got jelly legs though, it was glorious. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We'll be a nice full rounds again. So that'd be lovely.
The flotilla of ships travels all the way across Australia and Japan. The UK's fleet of F-35 fighter jets were at the heart of the deployment. There were 24 on board at times. They give the carrier strike group its cutting edge.
Operation IMARS has been an epic deployment. It's involved up to 4,000 sailors, soldiers, marines and aviators, and they've covered some 40,000 nautical miles over the past 8 months.
Just a few weeks ago, the Ministry of Defence declared that the carrier strike group is now mission ready.
We've done 2 transits at the
a contested world, really dangerous. We've operated in the South China Sea, and we've undertaken exercises across the globe to give me the absolute confidence that this capability is warfighting ready.
It was a long and at times intense deployment. Now, after 8 months away, these sailors, loved ones, are looking forward to Christmas together. Steve Humphrey, BBC South Today, Portsmouth.
Great to see. That's going to be a lovely Christmas for those fans. Okay, let's have a look at some of the other stories around the South that you're reading on the BBC News app tonight. And asylum protesters and counter-protesters are being asked to go to a meeting to discuss the impact of ongoing demonstrations outside Highfield House in Southampton. 2 black taxi drivers have been awarded hundreds of thousands of pounds after an employment tribunal found they were racially discriminated against by licensing officers at Basingstoke and Dean Borough Council. And it's been announced that British stars Charlie XCX, David and Ray will headline Reading and Leeds Festival this next summer. All those stories, of course, and more on the local pages of the BBC News app. Now, here's a question for you. Do CCTV cameras in our towns and cities make you feel safer or spied on? The UK is believed to be one of the most surveyed countries in the world, with an estimated 7.5 million cameras. Now, that's roughly 1 camera for every 10 to 11 people in the United Kingdom. The large majority are privately operated, with only a small percentage being controlled by local authorities or police forces. In Oxfordshire, it's home to an investment in council-run CCTV systems will help police crack down on crime and antisocial behaviour. But not everyone's signed up yet. Jamie Morrison.
2 men on a bike breaking the wing mirror off another car in Wigan. They claim the car had cut them up, but CCTV proved otherwise. It's incidents like this that Police and Crime Commissioner Matthew Barber believe provide an argument to ensure we continue to monitor our streets in the fight against antisocial behaviour.
The plan for over a year has been to bring together all the CCTV control rooms in Oxford into one central control room to make sure we've got some sustainability for the future, hopefully reduce costs to local authorities for investing more from the policing side. And I had put up nearly £250 million worth of funding for local authorities to help them with the transition, bringing equipment up to speed to move to the new setup.
The funding won't provide more CCTV. The approach to managing and monitoring across Oxfordshire through 1 control room in Abingdon.
Now, it's all well and good that the police want to improve surveillance on our streets, but how do you feel about it?
I think it's quite amazing, really. It's quite really useful about the things that anti-disgusting behaviour, I think.
I suppose people feel a bit safer, and if anything happens, there's like evidence and stuff.
It's partly an invasion of civil liberties, but also it is at a time we need to have security for businesses. With this, I don't know if it will affect the rise in shoplifting and all that, and for people to feel safe on the street.
Mr. Barber hopes his offer of financial support will secure the county's surveillance infrastructure, which he says is vital in helping police crack down on crime and catch criminals. And he's urging councils to sign up, because only 1 out of 5 Oxfordshire councils have.
It's a 1-year discount offered by a police crime commissioner. After that first year, the council pay nearly £90,000 every year for the scheme. So we take this quite seriously, obviously, as a responsibility, and for the long term, it requires proper scrutiny through our usual transparent decision-making processes.
With more than 20 CCTV cameras in there was no getting it. Jamie Morris, BBC County.
You're watching Saturday on the 1st of December already. It's been a wet and windy day, isn't it? Alexis will have our forecast in just a bit. Plus, this will make me smile. We've these transformed into Elsbeth as hundreds dress up as Santa's helpers. But did they manage to set a new world record? Stay with us for that, you'll love it. Now, getting pocket money as children is
Jordan is a skiver, a company's not good enough.
toy.
So to be fair, he has got college tomorrow, so he doesn't have to come on if he doesn't want to. That would be nice. Might be just me and you again tonight, bub.
Uh-huh.
Mortgages and compound interest. And the store's already including
Well, we've got, I had 3, but now it's gone down to 1.
It's just a basket of things.
Now, with your answer, what did you also need to put with the 1850? Yeah.
Don't ask me that question.
Kids learning about money in class, a subject close to their young hearts.
If you're at the shop and there's a packet of sweets that you really want, you need to realise that there's more important things in the future that you can use your money on. When we're older, we're adults, we have full-time jobs where we work every day, not just go around spending money like it grows on trees. If you keep on getting the stuff you like, you might probably go in debt. You need to definitely start saving to actually progress in life with money.
They are very savvy, sometimes not more savvy than we are with their money. And they do understand the difference between what's really important and actually what isn't important in life.
The head of Queen's Park
Sometimes it's not always about buying what you like, it's buying to make you feel satisfied. What's the point of buying something that's not going to make you happy or not make you satisfied? It's a waste of money, if you ask me.
Precisely.
It's not always about what you like.
Then actually they're able to manage that properly. Those skills
The reason I don't like money is the reason that we need it. It's the root of all evil, as my grandmother used to say. Money is like a woman. You can't live with it, but you can't live without it. Except you pains in the arses are worse.
I'm not a pain in the arse.
No, not much.
They do subjects like what is credit, good credit, bad credit, sessions on mortgages and tax, and that's all very important.
Yeah, or stay away from credit cards.
Everything that they need to know to exist in the modern world in terms of finance.
Teachers and pupils welcome financial literacy coming to more classrooms.
We're really pleased that the government have decided to put it on the national curriculum because we feel that they're a step behind, and actually we're a step.
No, it shouldn't be on the national curriculum. I don't agree with that. It should be a choice given in class whether they want to learn about it or not. Unless you're going to make it part of maths. But if you're just going to do it randomly, then no, it should not be on the national curriculum. You don't have to learn about money if you don't want to. Yes, it's vital in the world, but you learn more about money when you're older. And I don't care what people say, you learn more from your parents than you do from teachers. Fact. Not just saying that because I did. I learned far more from my parents and family than I ever did in school. And I'll stick to that.
Now, a specialist nurse has started work to help patients in Richmond, Dorset. The charity Taxi UK, hopes joining its new service here in the south, will provide a link between local NHS providers and specialists based in Oxford.
Ataxia is a neurological condition that affects the nervous system. For artist Malcolm Race, it means his coordination, balance, and speech are all impacted. In Malcolm's case, his body reacted to gluten, creating antibodies that mistakenly damaged the cerebellum, the part of the brain that controls balance. He first noticed something was wrong. He was working in an art college. It kept falling over.
It was devastating, actually, because I knew there was it's going to be a rocky road in Spain. When I walk around, I want to think of every single time I make a footstep.
It's a rare condition. Ataxia UK estimates 10,000 people in the UK have the progressive form of it. The charity says there isn't an ataxia specialist in the southwest. To support patients with information, they've recruited their own nurse. Camilla Notley hopes to fill gaps between specialist NHS centres where patients are often diagnosed and local neurology teams.
The key people that the patients with ataxia should be involved with as therapists, occupational therapists, and physiotherapists. They're sort of together and can support them with the symptoms that we're talking about. Unless you're asked about it, you don't realise that actually that's something that's being caused by your condition, so you don't think to ask for help.
Malcolm was done in Sheffield. He the other ataxia specialists, London and Oxford.
Long-term management is much by allied health professionals, and patients and sometimes medical staff don't know that that's the case. And that is where the ataxia nurse in the Southwest really comes into it.
This pilot project got money from the National Lottery Community Fund. If it's successful, they may expand it. Emma Minsky, BBC South Today.
Lewis is with me for Monday Sport now. Lewis, we know energy the long season, but it's all been worth it.
It is, yeah. What's the saying? If a third event succeeds, try again. That's what they've done. And yeah, there were scenes of great celebration as great crowned Cell DP champions for the first time by winning the Grand Final in Abu Dhabi. Led on the water by driver Dylan Fletcher and off the water by Sir Ben Ainsley. Emirates GBR finished ahead of three-time champions Australia in the winner-takes-all medal race, to claim the $2 million first prize. Of course, it's two-time Olympic champion Hannah Mills playing a key role as on-board practice.
It's wild. Yeah, I can't actually believe it. You know, it feels so good. The level's so high. The racing so hard. You know, we prepared as well as we could for that final race, and we kind of executed what we wanted to do. Obviously, didn't win the start, but after that, I think sailed the race we wanted to sail and to be proud of, and came through with the win. So yeah, just absolutely buzzing for the team.
Congratulations to the team. Now, looking back at the weekend's football action, Brighton are up to 5th in the Premier League, while Reading recorded their first away victory of the season, and Swindon are among the early pace setters in League Two. Logan Lawson has your roundup.
Weaver on the right side, drilling it into Bruter. Bruter on the edge of the box.
Well done, Brighton. Brighton beat Nottingham Forest 2-0, although you're supposed to be watching this.
They made it 4 matches unbeaten to move up to 5th in the Premier table. Semedo has got the battle of no crossing. Nelson off the post, should have scored, doesn't matter because Bournemouth do take the lead. Tyler Adams has got it in the centre circle now, and Bournemouth have got men born in numbers and one on the Adams! Oh, it's brilliant! He's locked the goalie! Bournemouth boss Andoni Iraola felt the referee lost control of the game as his side bottled a 2-goal lead to leave the stadium by empty-handed. It means the Cherries fall into the bottom half of the table for the first time since the opening weekend. Here comes the corner into the box. Headed down and headed in! And from 2-0 down.
Oh, our under-23s England ladies versus United States.
In a dramatic then, there was late offering for Southampton who thought they'd rested the point to the 87th minute, only to concede the third goal deep into stoppage time.
Millwall sucks.
Gallo puts it into the back post. Put back and
damn.
Losing this one with 30 seconds to go.
Portsmouth have dropped into the Championship relegation zone.
Oh, I don't care about those two.
1-0 defeat against promotion chase Bristol City at Brighton Park.
F Pompey, F Bristol.
Reading side produced a comfortable.
Well done, Reading. Bogeyman. Too late for Halloween.
While in League Two, Swindon kept up the pace.
Chesterfield let the side down. Oh well. Elsewhere this weekend, Reading Rockets remain the only unbeaten team in the basketball championship after victory against Nottingham Forest. Worthing Thunder slipped to their second defeat of the season, 80-89 against the Newcastle Knights. They stayed fourth. In rugby, Newcastle! Oh, sports! 28 victories for the that moves them into the league. What a win for Guildford.
Nothing.
Beating Dundee. Oh, ice hockey. Go on, fall on your arse. Let me have a laugh. Shut up. I like ice. I like hockey, so zip it, you.
To the guys, they bounced back after they challenged them to come back and have a good performance.
I didn't even say anything.
Don't have to.
Every single player on the ice was asked for tonight, and it's just
makes a change.
Oi.
Yeah, 8-1. Not bad going, is it? Yeah, both they have more on Facebook. They find well, they tweak the back of their ring now. Results are starting to improve.
I love the dates.
Yeah,
Love it. Love it. Lewis, thank you very much. It is
So
December.
it's currently raining
So
over
they're officially allowed to start
in
talking
America right now.
about even maybe start watching.
Oh, good. Well, Home Alone. Home Alone 1.
I love Home Alone 2.
Yeah, Home Alone. Yeah, it's good. Not quite as good as number 1, but I like
Yeah,
it.
we also had Die Hard.
Yeah,
And A Muppet's Christmas
Love
Carol.
Actually.
Love Actually.
Another one that's got to be in there is Elf. Well, Elf, yeah, it has to be in there, surely. And if you were in Weymouth for the weekend, you may have done a mistake if you witnessed a parade of elves marching through the town.
Over 1,000 elves took part in an attempt to win the accolade of the largest meeting of people dressed as Santa's little helpers in one place. And one of them is our very own Sue.
I've got enough blush on. A little bit more won't hurt. Well, I think my outfit ticks all the boxes, don't you? So, at Weymouth, we think world records to get as many people dressed as elves in one place. Wish us luck.
First of all, registration at the local theatre, where everyone turns up for an elf check. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Actually, they get checked to see if they qualify to take part.
They have to have an elf hat, ears, green or red top, and we've got colour coded plans so we know exactly how I'm coming to the building.
Some elves were local and others travelled a long way.
All of this was spray painted by him. And then the other night, like this year, they're all everything wired in.
An elf stormtrooper. Oh my god.
To take part. We ended up in star celebration.
The entourage gathered in the car park with the parade, which was led by Santa. Then came much anticipated announcement. Did they break the record?
We got 1,276.
Oh well, never mind. There's always next year. Sophie Pridland, BBC South Today.
BBC put there. Great. I'm waiting for that to go next year. I tell you what, Alexa's will be up for that as well.
Yeah,
absolutely. Awful weather today.
Really quite persistent. Heavy rain. We still got a warning, of course, from the Met Office. I'll talk about that in just a second. But this lovely gathering was photographed today in Sandhurst, and we had a big wave at Lower Cove, captured by one of our weather watchers, Lawrence. And through the course of today, that persistent rain really lasted through much of the day, going in some places. Will continue to ease this evening and the first part of the night. There will be blustery showers to follow tomorrow. Maybe
great.
Sunday with some bright and sunny
It's going to be raining while we're working.
Western parts of the region. We're still going to see perhaps localised flooding and the southwesterly wind gusting 40 miles per hour through the first part.
Gas mask.
Second half of the night with moderate fresh breeze. Now that band of rain will slowly ease its way eastwards, followed by some showers, mainly affecting southern and coastal areas. And here, where the sea is quite warm, we could see the old rumble of thunder. Temperatures tonight will drop away to around 6.
0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Why is my life a bloody watching yo-yo? Yes.
And they managed to get spells of rain. More likely to see thunderstorms along coastal stretches, temperatures into double figures, highs at 10 to 11 Celsius. And the winds still fairly brisk tomorrow afternoon, but not as strong as they were today. And for the coastal forecast on the inshore waters, the winds are southwesterly 3 to 5, occasionally 6 first, and the sea stay slight or moderate, occasionally rough. So tomorrow night, showers will gradually ease, continuing for some along coastal stretches. Elsewhere, it should be mainly dry with clear spells, and it will turn cooler as well. Those northern parts, perhaps 1 or 2 Celsius, so we could see a touch of frost with some distant fog patches first thing on Wednesday. Through Wednesday, a lot of dry weather is expected. Showers more likely along coastal stretches once again. Thundering. With this band of rain,
more showers on Wednesday.
Late Wednesday and overnight into Thursday, introducing some more cloud, also outbreaks.
No, we're supposed to go on Thursday.
That does clear.
You son of a...
Some scattered showers as well.
Overnight Thursday, one brilliant of which.
So now that means we're going to get wet when we go to the cinema. Oh, great.
Thanks, Alexis. I felt like it was so wet. It was awful. That is it for us tonight. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch. David is back with our ladies at 10:30, and the one show is next. Have a great evening.
Stop creeping. Time for number ones.
A one.
Tit. Right, you're in charge till I get back. As per the usual. Oh, good. Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, oh.
Place where it is not made. So she decided to have her way around there. She was excited. She was really excited. She wanted it just perfect. She called me up for breakfast and dinner. But she had a couple cocktails with dinner. So of course she was getting a little nervous at that time. And she was a little concerned that she might be too young to be getting married. She was asking me those questions. If I thought she was too young to get married. And I just told her, yes, whatever she wanted to do, it was up to her. I remember before I messed up, they used to tell me all these things about him, all these things that he had done. And I just remember turning around and saying, I hope he's not filling her with a lot of crap about himself. I said, because that just doesn't sound plausible to have been done that much in his brother, whatever age he was at the time, 22 or. But then when I met him, he's very nice, respectful, and pleasant. Didn't think I said that. I have no to go think that thing.
Just this afternoon, a badly decomposed body was found near Point Isabel in Richmond, and last night the body of a male fetus was found just a few miles away at that farm. Corey Gomez joins us live from the scene with more on this developing story. Gordon?
This could be a major break in the Lacey Peterson case. I can tell you the investigators from Modesto PD are here. We, of course, will be here, Paul, and bring you the very latest when we have it.
Her torso had washed up. And so we were right back out there, basically telling the audience that the worst case scenario has happened. It was heartbreaking to tell it. I had to keep myself composed because I knew that I was delivering some hard news to the community that was really rooting for Lacey to be alive. And I knew that. I saw it on the news and I immediately called the detective.
Well, I've just spotted two stewards.
Can't say. He said,
Now 3.
and I said, okay. Right away.
Because it's the under 23s, England versus USA.
Yeah.
She wanted us to know things were going to be okay, as well as they could be, and that the person responsible is going to face the justice. And she is up.
Oh, bloody hell. I've got game in all pieces.
So this is no longer an investigation. It's no longer a missing case. It is a complete fast forward investigation.
I mean, that's where I'm at right now. My focus is we caught Scott without bias. Because on December 24th, during my interview with Scott Peterson, he told me he went to Fort Island. And that the boat delivering water. Island. And the other island, Four months later, Lacey and Connor were found near this island. That's a huge thing to overcome.
The bodies coming up in the bay solidified what we actually believed all along. In my opinion, and this is based on my experience in many homicides, I believe that this was under homicide. That either something
Oh, excuse me for yawning.
that you could choose to do that. One is that it's very quiet. Secondly, it doesn't make a noise.
Then, between the 23rd and the 24th, he grabs her in the trunk, drags her through the house, out floors, except when he gets to that one door, and that's where the rug is all scratched up. I think he on purpose left the dog on the leash. He put her in the back of the truck, puts these umbrellas in the truck, probably covered her. Took her over to the warehouse. He backed his truck into the warehouse where the boat was, put her in the boat, then he drove her to the bay.
And he put the boat in the water with Lacey's body in the boat. He went out to Brooks Island and he dumped her weighted body into the water, hoping that it would never ever come up. Tried to make this look like a disappearance, but the story just didn't stand up.
This case doesn't have a witness, doesn't have a video, doesn't have a confession. But it's got everything else that you're looking for. And then once the bodies were found, we had a complete case. But we knew that to confirm the identification of the bodies had to be done by DNA. Us, the cops, the homicide guys, we know it's gone. I mean, where it came up compared to where Scott said he was, we know it's gone. When Lacey came up, she had maternity clothes on. We pretty much knew. And that's when we went to the judge. We got the warrants for Scott's arrest. We had a tracker on his little truck, and we found the truck, but somebody else was driving. So we couldn't find them by tracker, but we did find them by wiretap.
Hey, brother, I saw the picture in the death zone where everybody's leaving flowers and stuffed animals and everything in front of your house.
On Wednesday, babe.
Yeah.
When I send you the money to bring you over,
That's only about less than an hour.
Yeah.
bring your Switch. Bring your Switch over, and don't forget, please.
Scott was staying at my house in San Diego.
Don't do anything.
He had left early that
Please,
morning
just
to
bring it
meet
over,
up
please.
with my dad and my brothers, Mark and Joe, to go golf, do something that was normal for them to do, kind of take the
Oh,
pressure
Lord.
off.
Oh, no, that was nothing. Time for number twos.
Nice.
Right, you're in charge. Obviously, what yet again.
Ooh.
She's really good at that. She's always available. She's always an option. He'll be under pressure for as long and gives up possession. Shores. Mark about by Raptor. Yeah, Raptor does really well there just to anticipate that. Make the tackle. USA with the throw. Again, it's laid out for a throw a couple of yards further up by Kirabarri. Women on the 20s at the USA recently in mixture. So 4 goals to 1. Yes. Gale getting a goal there for England on that occasion. As mentioned, these sides at this age has been there. It's 2018. Side against the USA. Yeah, it's a great opportunity for both these sides tonight to learn valuable insights and lessons given the fact that haven't faced each other since 2018. So, regardless of the result tonight, there's a lot of lessons that have been learned from this experience. Let's take on the Arsenal youth player, Lionesses. Down this right hand side. Win it back there and it's taken off. Yeah, you can see England, they are playing in this particularly positive pattern of play. We're seeing that coming tenacious to try and reward dangerous areas. So they're doing incredibly well, but it's just, as I mentioned before, just that last end product, maybe just improving that last bit of quality on the ball and the decision making. And then look, the first corner of the game was deliver, to the air, take what is, little targets, first post though. It's really nice. As I said, forward.
measure the boy, he's got with lighter, make the one off the shoulder. But it's been a positive couple of minutes for England. You know, they are trying to build and grow into the game. It just might be when they pick the moments, when to increase the tempo, just to get into more dangerous positions. What can England do from this set piece then? Better delivery, but it's just about dealt with by the USA. Again, they'll try and break down this left-hand flank. We'll fire forward, can England's defenders deal with it? Yes, they can. Really good play, in fact. And the goalkeeper. And there's a defending there, but they do come allowed to get numbers left behind the ball and just to put out the fire. His base again. They're using the forward footage and the goal. Just on the WSL for Liverpool, but scored our last clearance for them against Sheffield Wednesday. It's been 1 minute for Gary Taylor's side as well. Bringing the ball round to find Mendy. Mendy just cut out just in time, but a nice passing back for England. Yeah, real good combination play, and I'm really pleased to see Mia Mendy in an England shirt tonight. She's been well trusted by Gareth Taylor in the WSL, and she's such a bright prospect. And what makes her so dangerous is that she's unpredictable. She can use both feet. So if we can get Mia Mendy in some dangerous areas on the pitch, I think she'll cause problems. Simpson pokes it out to Ramjohn. This is nice from England. Ramjohn comes away with it and has space to get the cross in. Comes the delivery met by Goodman, but it was just behind it and taken it to a set. Israel Charlie play good combination play, and again in the wide area is that ball coming in, and they are probing it. Because unfortunately, there wasn't an England player there.
You noisy little monkey.
Ooh, ooh, ah, ah.
Yeah, exactly. Beef Wellington. You made a beef Wellington, didn't you, a little while ago?
Uh-huh. I sure did.
Bit fucking potent. Not bad, actually.
We've got DOJ agents in cars. We've got an aircraft up, and the followers in our two cars.
That morning, he's noticing things up. And Scott spends the next 3 to 4 hours trying to shape this tail he's got that he thinks is weird. And he is worse than any monkey or he is driving so bad that the couple but if he's finding somebody we can hear him on the phone, but a lot through the meeting.
They not want to sit on my stop on the highway and they get on stop behind.
Cars, and he pulls out just because he was like,
Come on, Scott.
You one ugly motherfucker.
In a newsroom with a headline that scholars CNN has confirmed that Scott Peterson is under arrest tonight, arrested in San Diego.
Breaking news, but that's very close.
Scott Peterson
And in time, further knows the Department of Justice where research him and search his car. But there's a little two-seater Mercedes, and he was prepared for anything in the car. You know, it was almost $15,000 expensive. Had 4 or 5 cell phones, had several knives, and he had Viagra, he had a shovel, he had rope, cooking grill, he had credit cards for himself, but he also had family member credit cards in the car. He also had his brother's ID right on the center console that actually he similarly looked like with the new hair.
The fact that Scott Peterson is arrested 30 miles from the Mexican border created this perception that Scott was in flight when he was arrested. And that's just not the case. He went to San Diego multiple times while Lacey was missing. So the notion that Scott was coming is just inaccurate.
Craig Hogan was the next drive back to that 5-6 hour drive. He had to rest before. Well, we got a call. It was confirmed. That's Connor and Lacey. So then Scott, Craig Hogan, he just kind of lowered his head. He said he saw it here. He didn't say anything. He was just quiet. It was time to put some gas and use the bathroom and then probably get a bite to eat. He asked where I was going. And I said, well, you're in and out up the road here a little ways. We'll probably stop there. I got the transcript right here. And Scott goes, I'll have a double with cheese, fries, small vanilla shake would be great. And to me, that was an enormous red flag on the fact that the notification didn't surprise him, but he already knew the results of this from 4 months earlier. And he was ready to eat. There were a crowd of people, signs. I've never had that happen before other than this case where somebody cheers for the rest. We're outside the gate of San Juan County Jail. This is where Scott Peterson will be held until his arraignment. Look at this. All the people have gathered to catch a glimpse of Peterson as he was driven here from San Diego by detectives. All of these reporters lined up right in front of the Western Police Department. All of a sudden, you have members of the public showing up. They had been in this case for so many months. Now they wanted to see a villain person. I think I watched because of the broadcast live. They were driving in the backseat of the detective's car, and the gauntlet of people that had come out in the middle of the night, I was horrified. It looked like he was being taken to the slaughterhouse. You know, it was a terrible thing. I've never seen anything like that, ever. In a crazy way, eternally, I was like, oh, what kind of created this? We, the media, created this.
Tonight, what's going on with Scott Peterson's defense? There are reports that none other than Mark Garagos, the high-profile attorney who's been a frequent guest on this program, could be the new lawyer.
The moment I hear it's Mark Garagos, I'm like, oh, wow. That's a big name. That's a big lawyer from LA.
One of the most well-known attorneys in America to petition for room like some of the highest profile cases. His clients both inside and outside the court. Mark and I started working together on trials Scott. The way that it happened that we came to represent Scott
Mark was on Larry King. Pretty much every night, Larry King was now running this segment. He doesn't as a narcissist. Yeah, it was, but that does not make him a murderer. Because he might be guilty of adultery. My parents got to be familiar with him through seeing him on TV. All of Mark's points resonated with them. So when it came time to look at attorneys, he was one of the first. His dad said just to move forward, and right when that hearing is over, Mark there goes, along with the Peterson, come right outside the courthouse steps to give a press conference. And he said he is going to prove that Scott Peterson had nothing to do with this. That this is a witch hunt. We're happy that Mark is in place as Scott's attorney, and we do look forward to proving his innocence. One of the two attorneys that basically packed up and moved to the desk notes to start working on this case. This case was considered guarded by homicide. It didn't involve any celebrities, yet it turned into this media frenzy. I had no idea how I was supposed to women who find themselves in high-profile scandals with the famous and powerful lost to Gloria Allred when legal counsel. Allred represents the family of Nicole Brown Simpson. Allred also represents two of Tiger Woods mistresses, Jocelyn James and Rachel Nicotel. Still, I called Blair's office, and we made arrangements for her to not speak with us about this case. Get on her. There was a big person I felt good about Blair. This could have been a witness. Amber is also a victim of Scott's deception. Victims are entitled to attorneys, as are witnesses.
Be right back, babe.
A 1.
Oh, okay.
Double movements, drop into pockets, and then maybe a win off the shoulder, just to ask different questions of this USA offline. Championship, what was called championship, it's not too long here, but London City United is after the spot. But top quality players that London City United is for, she's still getting in the sport, which is a testament to how good she is. Yeah, it just shows her strength and mentality to continue, consistently performing and get the reward in the
So maybe first one pick from colours is the complete process of the
Drunk bins being blown over by the wind. Where are the shenanigans this time of night? No! I heard that.
I'm just trying to do something festive.
Yeah. You say that, you didn't put any emojis by your name, like I've done.
Yeah, but it doesn't. I don't know how.
It's easy. Hang on.
I know how to do it. It's just for some reason it won't allow me to do it.
Well, I thought there'd be an excuse.
No, it's not an excuse. It's actual true.
An excuse. You want to say chill. There you go. Pardon me.
Gas mask.
Oh, you heard that, did you?
Yeah, it's pretty loud.
No, that's just the figment of your imagination. Sorry, I forgot to do. Shit the bed. Alright, I'll do that. No, just shorten it. Help me get away with it. There you go, babe. How's that?
Uh-huh.
Babe, The title and headline is in the way of your face. You know, bring yourself up a bit.
Hang on.
That's a bit better, yeah.
My butt does not want to stay up.
I beg your
my bed.
pardon? Your ass has got nothing to do with it.
I keep sliding down my bed.
Are you sure you're on a bed or a very long rectangular icicle?
A bed.
Sounds like slip sliding away on your bed. Hang on a minute. You're only supposed to do that when I'm near. Cheeky fucker.
Peaky Blinders got Watford tonight.
Uh-huh.
And I was very concerned.
So I'm going with a draw with that.
And of course, it would be and was the interest of defense and supporters of defense to undermine her credibility. That was key. If she's going to be the key prosecution witness, the court of public is also very because after all, jurors were ultimately going to be chosen for the jury, but likely have been hearing or reading or seeing or all of the above quite a bit about this case before they ever sat in the court.
Energizer Max Plus is up to 200% off your lot. We were just chomping at the bit to get information. We're eating it up. But keep in mind, the more stories I do, the more stories that end up in national news and everywhere, it becomes a toxic community. Your stock keeps getting trial. And so at that point, they made a motion to move the case.
Now his fate is in the hands of the people of San Mateo County.
It takes months to get to this point, but jury selection has finally started at Scott Peterson's murder trial. The judge told prospective jurors that they'll know within an hour whether they'll be sitting on the Peterson case that is now set to start on June 1st.
When I heard about Scott, I didn't really follow it until the last thing I heard is when they found the bodies. And later on, I got 30 something. And I wasn't even clean. When I got there, when I walked in the bar, I saw all and it was like, what's going on? This is great. And then we got trouble with this. And then I remember Scott stood up, and then I was just like, oh my. I promised myself I said, this will be try. That's so. I looked at this guy and I said, no way. Now show me what you have. Convince me that this young man did this. He's a tall, he's white. Will be. Now that dollar will buy you a cup of coffee Starbucks. It's just that simple. It doesn't matter. It's not relevant. What's relevant is show me what would be if you don't have that, have a nice day, nice day. More than a year after Scott Peterson's arrest, he's finally stayed in court.
Let's get right to our top story. This here in California this morning. Opening statements begin today for the double murder trial of Scott Peterson.
Now, there are expected to be 100 witnesses or more over the next 5 months or so. A marathon case is just begun.
The police weren't telling us anything because they couldn't. That's why I desperately wanted to be in that courtroom. I found out more information during the trial than they even knew existed. I could not be there.
They absolutely felt helpless. And that's why I wanted to get on a plane and be there. And I didn't want to go through that experience, but I knew I wanted to get there.
There was no government essentially process is not where the crime occurred, how the crime occurred, and when the crime occurred.
It was like a real life soap opera happening in your living room. It was always being compared to O.J. Simpson, right? Well, Scott Peterson became the new O.J. Simpson. The only difference was that this case was not televised. This was basically left up for journalists to tell the story based on what they observed. And I was there every day for the trial to find the hook for the day, find the headline for the day. Sources tell us during the course of the hearing, prosecutors are likely to call close to 30 witnesses. Prosecutors laid out the circumstantial case for jurors, brick by brick, from the moment Lacey Peterson was reported missing. Prosecutors say Scott Peterson couldn't keep his story straight.
Three prosecutors were status lost. And it just felt a little bit wrong. They were outmatched. That's status lost. Is not LA. Guys were now up against probably, arguably one of the best attorneys in the state. The first one scored this lawsuit came from non-white stores. A Martha Stewart cooking show featuring meringue. They basically called Scott a liar, saying he made up. He and Lacey were watching TV the morning. They disappeared. And they were watching this Martha Stewart program. One of the main points that we felt was there was no one. Well, we got the video. Lo and behold, at almost exactly the same time as Scott said, here's Martha Stewart talking about Brian. So what are we going to do? That was the end of it. Never heard the prosecution again. How did you make that mistake? And the journalist was ripping the first with the department prosecution. I am one of the first things. There's a lot of people out there, front runners, and then all the media, the Fox, people I see on TV who I don't know, they're all. The first question, I've always done this, I turn to the jury, and I'm answering
Mum's
the
cooking
jury.
something
They're
really
going,
nice.
Look at me when I'm talking to you. And I looked at him and Stasco, everybody's like shocked. And Stasco's, I object, Your Honor, he can look wherever he wants when he's talking. And he asked me another question. I started turning, but you're afraid to look at me. I mean, he's screaming at me. And I guess he's just trying to intimidate me. There was once a place, and you don't know what. I'm sitting on the witness stand waiting. They go back and check the chamber. When they come out, I can see the Stasco. They're looking a little nervous. I don't know what's going to happen. But they sit down and then they let go. So what we do in Modesto is dictate. And on this one day, I'm talking to a neighbor of Scott Shaw. When I got home, I dictated him. John Doe said he heard through the grapevine that Lacey, the other neighbor, protected them from the bathroom. So when I was testifying, he plays my tape and it's typing at the same time. Then he puts my police report up. Same thing typed down, but that one line is gone. And everybody in the courtroom is like, ooh, like that is really, I'm hiding evidence. Then there goes like, Your Honor, I think we should call the police.
So that could just sit there and percolate.
Instead of trying to put the finger on, how do you let a police officer attempt attack on the credibility of police investigators?
It's clear at this point why Detective Brocchini actually deleted that information from his report. But you can get prosecutors on Monday to try to rehabilitate them for the jury.
What happened was on this one day, after I get paid, now we all sit down together and I tell all the detectives what I heard. And Detective Dennis Hall, he says, "Whoa, I interviewed him." So he could testify to what they said. Mine was very great. And so I deleted that sentence because it could look wrong. I mean, when I was seeing Sharon and our aunt and the kid, it was a tough process. Listening in at the beginning, I thought it was going nowhere. I thought it was going to waste the taxpayer dollars. Death penalty was on it. But for me, Scott Peterson was innocent, so I didn't think it was going to get to that point. I really thought this was going to go there.
It was stressful, but it was intense. But I needed to know everything that they knew. There was only a couple of days I wasn't there. One I had a really bad cold that going over now. Yeah, I was going to be talking about the conditions of the body.
In a case that lacks physical evidence, most believe there is one powerful piece. A medical examiner's testimony would come down to one critical question: was baby Connor born alive? Prosecutors want the jury to believe Connor died with his mother on December 24th. The defense wants it to be another way.
What the coroner determined on Connor's age was an estimate of between 33 and 30 weeks, against an estimate only. And there's not an exacting science that's going to be able to pin that down, but that does put it outside of a bit later than December 24th, when we fully placed it. Not able to hone in to a specific time of death to hurt the prosecution's case, because it opened up a whole different theory of potentially someone kidnapping a pregnant woman because they want to be for the state of California. And then Amber Fry completely changed all that.
Amber Fry. Everybody wanted to hear Amber Fry's story. She was the prosecution's star witness. This case is either going to win or lose on Amber Fry's testimony. If she flops on the stand, and if the defense starts chipping away at her credibility, they're going to lose this case.
Our strategy had always been we were going to have to sort of fit Scott at his fair. Essentially try and make Scott seem more human so that we could then argue, look, just because you hate somebody or somebody doesn't make them hurt.
The first day of trial, I walked in the courtroom. It was completely packed, and it's silent as could be. And when I first sat on the stand, I wasn't just sitting in my room, but I was sitting in a place incredible and trial. I feel like Erica's got a little agitated with me at times. I didn't answer in the way he thought I would or anticipated. Like, did Scott ever say he loved you? And in reality, my answer was valid, not in those words. I mean, his actions, the things he did, the thoughtfulness. Those are all actions. But ultimately, the answer was no. But I think it kind of got Erica's skin because I didn't answer straightforward. Well, it wasn't necessarily a straightforward question either, in my opinion. So
She held her head high when she did testify. I think she earned the respect of the jury. They saw the real Amber Fry, not the mistaken stereotypes.
I was not in this race. I can make a definition that is a woman knowingly in a relationship with a married man. And I was not knowingly. For the first time, there was clarity as far as who I was and my relationship with Scott. Those tapes were essential. As Scott Peterson invoked his Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination and chose not to testify in the case. But his voice was still in the courtroom on the tapes that Amber had recorded. I had no idea that those were going to be played publicly for other people to hear. People were hearing conversations that I thought were only meant for the police department and possibly attorneys. Not everyone. And pretty much it. That was a little hard. I just don't know that we're, oh, anybody else? Oh, no, not as far as I'm concerned.
I never cheated on you. I never.
How do you think you never cheated on? Explain that. And
a lot of people believe that the affair is a big deal. I didn't see it as a big deal, and I don't think anybody on the jury did either. What we did see as a big deal is what he said. It was damn, it was absolute damn, and not only the vocals, but the line. Yes, the charade. What was particular is Scott's lines that was very short-sighted. It was obvious he did not think these things through carefully. He was emotionally detached to the point where he believed that investigators and Lacey's family and friends and the public would lose interest in her disappearance. In a few short weeks, it was startling and shocking that he seemed to sincerely believe that he would be free.
How many people are watching?
So,
nope.
Scott,
I did start the live a bit early.
He bought his secret when he came home between regardless of the driveway, pizza, took a shower, and then he called. There is no sense of urgency. Nothing came up the house, nothing damaged. So Lacey's car, the employees, nursery, the storage area, these are all inappropriate behaviors. It's not leading to the place of home. And this was evidence presented by the prosecutor. Lacey didn't just disappear, this was actually planned, premeditated murder. Now, the Scott Peterson, you can't take part of it, look at it, and say, because there's no aha. But you take the bits and pieces and you put them all together, then it draws a picture. It paints a portrait. After being instructed by the judge for nearly an hour, the 6 men and 6 women of the jury will now decide Scott Peterson's fate.
There is a verdict in the Scott Peterson trial, and it will be announced at 1 p.m. Pacific time.
It even 90 minutes when the jury came back. I had a live audio feed of the verdict in this case.
Huge gathering of folks from the public that have gathered.
Sense of scramble. Fills up the corridor inside the courthouse. Everybody.
go to Redwood City, the first 75 acres, and all of the nights and Saturdays. That's what Redwood City.
They said the verdict was coming in 2 hours, so at 1 o'clock it was going to be, we were going to hear Scott's fate, and we were pretty much in very good spirits. I just kind of felt a sense of this is finally coming to an end. It was very fortunate that Jackie, Jamie, and Joe were in Redwood City, but there's no way my dad and I were going to make it from San Diego. We were excited. Scott's going to come.
You're sick, baby. You're watching the weather.
I didn't know enough about the legal system to, one way or the other. You have to have a little bit of a doubt because you don't know what these public was thinking. I remember getting the call to say we have a verdict. We were all rushing into the courtroom to get it, and they're filing it. They all take a seat, and the first thing I see was one of the jurors. She looks right at Lacey's mom. She gives her a wink. And I'm like, oh! The gestures seem to indicate we got her. But then the verdict was read.
State of California versus United States of the 11th clause, final defendant Scott Lee is guilty of the crime of murder of the final defendant Scott Lee.
I just remember the relief period for guilt. I mean, it was like, being inflated all this time, and all of a sudden, all the air just comes out of your body. It was just a relief, a huge relief. I wasn't, I can't say we were all excited and happy about it. That's not the feeling that I have at all. Just a relief. When they read the verdict, I thought, I missed them. Just was like, and then they said it again. The conduct. It felt very quiet. Kind of out of body. Like, being taken in with that cold. They were going to escort us outside because there was such a and we come out the door and we're waiting at the other end of the courthouse from our car, and they walk us the whole way in front of the whole crowd. It felt like we were paraded in front of them to our car. With people hollering and screaming and cheering. I just remember looking out at this sea of people and thinking, they have no idea. They have no idea what just happened the last 4 months in this courtroom. No idea.
Today, the judge ruled that the same jury that convicted Scott Peterson of murdering his pregnant wife will also determine whether he lives or dies for his crimes, and the case will stay in Redwood City.
The biggest moment had to have been Sherrington's. If you did not cry during that, or at least shed a tear during Sharon's, just weren't there. It was really
Hi, mate.
A gas mask.
face to face. I remember.
You heard that one then?
Yeah.
Yeah, to cry.
So it's pretty loud.
Then she imagined placing more baby for its life. Say, Daddy, please, another way. She said that.
She's similar to that.
Scott Peterson, his wife and born son, came in with his decision on a gun. Some jumped in the air and clapped. Christmas comes early. They have mental success. Tell something. We did a good job. I don't see anything good about that. That would be like you telling me that person who pulled the trigger beats me up to hear that because I'm saying, you don't even know what death is. It's so easy for you to say that. It's not that easy.
No, you should be made to live with what you do. If someone wants.
And Scott got what he
And I took her away past it. You know, he destroyed a lot of lives, families' lives. I'm not going to say he destroyed our lives. He upset our lives. But I would move the rest of our lives.
remember later I saw Sharon and I opened kind of apologized for how it started. And then she said I never lost or anything like that. So it was kind of hard, kind of big for a while. Then I realized after a while that I'm not a good member. I mean, you know, kind of when you see me, maybe you think of that I'm all the time. So I kind of rail. Scott's office in Clinton and Peterson's continued to fight. They immersed themselves in this fight for Scott. Never admitted guilt on any level.
We didn't have time to grieve Lacey when we found out she was gone because Scott was arrested. Lacey was part of our family. Lacey was my sister-in-law. Connor was my nephew. We went from looking for her. And when we found out she was dead, he was arrested and we're fighting for his life. And here we are, 20 years later, trying to right this injustice.
No.
I really believe that it's very difficult for Scott's family to believe that they can ever do this. The severity of the crime is an important factor. You know, is there anything worse than going to fight for a child? You know, what would be the consequences of acknowledging that he must have done this?
I think at the end of the day, they both know that what they know, just only killed her. And they live with that pain. The Petersons know that he didn't. And they live with that.
Next to
There are times I look back, gosh, it's hard to believe it's 20 years ago. And on the other hand, it seems like it wasn't 20 years ago. You know, I've always said, you don't get over it, you just get through it. You just have to muddle through it. You're never going to get over it. It's always going to be there. Always. It'll always be there. We have a whole different life now. It's the before and the after, and that's the way I refer to it. When I talk about different things, the before place and after places. Because it does change their life. There's no doubt about that. It changes everybody's life.
2-1.
Involved.
Where?
Under 23s, England ladies.
What the last 20 years has brought
We were losing 2-0 to USA.
Into that station. Conversations. We promised each other that it doesn't matter who knows, one of us knows what's happening. You just realize what's good about your best friend. And yet we doesn't. So that's, I think, why we make sure that we're all in the know. She was in love. There's no doubt about that. She was just really excited. She was in love with him. And we always liked him. He always treated her well. Until he didn't. With a low risk trip, such as what this world was very small. Yes. The most likely person who will harm someone like her is her intimate partner. And the statistics that we keep on side bear this out. In fact, not only does pregnancy increase the risk of victimization for women, but it is the number one cause of death for pregnant. This was from her high school memorial. And this is this just captures my spirit so wow. It's just so infectious. She would have brought them at her child. It's really big, and she would have had something else to do. She's been gone almost as long as she was here. I just want her to be remembered as a person, not a victim of murder. She was alive. She's still alive to all of us. I see dragonflies. This time of year. Her legacy is that she was a loving person. She loved her husband, trusted her husband, and he betrayed her. He betrayed her and he betrayed everybody else. The family, our family. 40 years I received many letters from her.
I'm gonna end the live stream here. No, nobody's gonna come on, babe. Might as well end it. Right, I'll be live again Friday for SmackDown, and then next week you'll get 3 live for Raw, live for SmackDown, and then live for John Cena's last match at Saturday night's main event. All right, so hit the bell button and subscribe button and see all videos coming soon. Ding, ding, done. Yay!
Yay! And just before we end it, just to let everyone know that I have done 2 videos on my channel, which so far 5 people have already seen it. And you're more than welcome to subscribe to my channel as well as the others as well.
All right. See you later, guys.
Bye, guys.